So there are two things are there, import of goods and import of services. Import of goods are covered under Customs Act, whereas import of services are covered under GST Act. The term supply includes import of services for a consideration whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. Correct? Yes, that means it is only applicable for services and not for goods. And service should be provided for a, whereas service may be in the course or furtherance of business. We are having a related IGST exemption. Section 7 of the CGST Act is talking about exemption. Section 6 of the IGST Act is talking about exemption. Correct? What that related IGST exemption is saying that if the service provider is situated outside India, that is service received from a provider of service located in non-taxable territory, that is a service provider is situated and the service recipient is situated in India, being class A, class B, class B, class C. Correct? With regard to class A, that is a service recipient who are situated in India, either government or individual, local authority, then for the purpose of any purpose other than trade, commerce or business is enough from GST. And if the service provider is situated outside India and service recipient is a registered charitable trust under section 12AA, or if that charitable trust is importing the services for providing charitable activity in India, it is exempt from GST. Sir, if the service provider is situated outside India and service recipient is educational institution and the importation of services is by way of online education journals or periodical, is exempt from GST. However, this exemption will not be applicable to preschool education and education up to higher secondary or education as a part of approved vocational education courses. And service provider is situated outside India and even the service recipient is also situated outside India, it is exempted from GST in India. Earlier, that part were out one purpose, but that purpose has been deleted in the Act. That IGST NSR notification got amended. Correct? However, this exemption shall not apply to OIDAR, online information, data access or retrieval services. If any OIDAR service has been received by category 1, that is government, local authority or individual, or category number 2, registered charitable trust under section 12AA or 12AB, this exemption will not be available. That's what OIDAR, online information and data access or retrieval services, received by person specified in entry A or entry B, this exemption will not be applicable. It is liable to GST. Okay. I'm moving to the next one. Who is the person liable to pay tax in case of importation of services? We know that section 5 of the IGST Act, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. 5.1, person NSR collection, levy and collection of the IGST. Sir, 5.2, levy of IGST on petroleum products. 5.3, notified RCM. 5.4 and 5.5. So, as per section 5.3 of the IGST Act, if the service provider is situated outside India and service recipient is situated in India, my dear lovable students, this is the person liable to pay GST. In case of N of services, importation of services, the recipient of the N of services, importation of services, who is located in India is the person who is liable to pay IGST on service under reverse charge. This is as per section 5.3 of the N Act. Earlier, if the service is provided by way of transportation of goods by vessel from a place outside India till the customs station of clearance in India, taxable irundhuchilla. Ipadan delete pannitaangala. So the corresponding delete should be there even in the person liable to pay GST also. Correct? Now coming to OIDAR services, if the service provider of the OIDAR is situated outside India and the service recipient of the OIDAR is situated in India, being he may be two persons, either taxable online recipient or non-taxable online recipient. If he is a taxable online recipient, my dear lovable student, taxable online recipient situated in India is the person liable to pay GST. If he is a non-taxable online recipient, he is an unregistered person, for him reverse charge will not be work. So it will be taxable at FCM, that is forward charge mechanism, right? So in case of import of OIDAR service by a non-taxable recipient, supplier of the OIDAR service is liable to pay IGST. And in case of import of notified services through commerce operator, E-commerce operator is liable to pay IGST as per section 5.5. Yeah? Yes, sir. So who is the person liable to pay GST? IGST. We are having two section reference. One is 5.3 and other is 5.5. Paka. Sir, now we are having a quick analysis of who's the person liable to pay tax in case of NS services. OADR service. Service provider may be situated in India or service provider may be situated. If the OADR service provider is situated in India, my dear lovable students, whether they provided to a taxable online recipient or non-taxable online recipient, it is always service provider. It is at FCM, correct? Whereas if the OADR service provider is situated outside India and the recipient is situated in India being a taxable recipient, he is a registered person, RCM will work. So the service recipient is the person liable to pay GST in India. Whereas if the service provider is situated and the service recipient is a non-taxable online recipient, my dear lovable students, then the FCM will be applicable. Service provider who are situated outside India is the person liable to pay tax. For that, the service provider who are situated outside India is liable to take registration under section 27, correct? Because it is a special procedure for casual taxable person. And so one line summary of the entire discussion is, if the service provider is situated outside India, we have to check whether the service recipient is a taxable online recipient or, whereas if the service provider is situated in India, no need to check what is the status of the recipient. Always it is FCM, that is forward charge mechanism, right? Coming to the next one, sir, we are having various schedule. Sir, schedule number 1, schedule number 2, schedule number 3. Schedule 1 is set in section 7, subsection 1, clause C. அப்ப ஒரு schedule number 1 இருக்கு நமக்கு சொல்லி கொடுத்ததே யாருதான்? Section 7, subsection 1. Sir, schedule number 2 இருக்கு நமக்கு சொல்லி கொடுத்தது 7, subsection 1A. கரெக்டா? Whereas schedule number 3 இருக்கு நமக்கு சொல்லி கொடுத்தது 7, subsection 2. These are the authoritative sections where we are having schedule, correct? Schedule 1 என்ன supply? Schedule 2, schedule 3. If you see 7 subsection 1 clause C, supply includes the activity specified in N1 made or agreed to be made without a consideration. Section 7 subsection 1 clause A, supply includes all forms of supply of goods or services or both, such as sale, barter, transfer, exchange, license, lease, rental or disposal, made or agreed to be made for a consideration by a person in the course or furtherance of business. அப்ப consideration mandatory னு சொன்னாங்களா? ஆனா schedule 1ல சொல்றாங்க 4 ஆக்டிவிட்டிக்கு மட்டும் என்ன இல்லைனா கூட அது என்னதான்? சப்ளை தான். அது என்ன சப்ளை? deemed supply. So as per N1 schedule 1, in the following எத்தனை cases? Supply made without consideration will be treated as supply under section 7 of the CGST Act. So that 4 things are para 1, para 2, para 3, para 4. There are 4 paras are there. Yes, sir. Sir, what with regard to para 1, my dear lovable students? Permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC has been avoided. Supply of dash or dash or dash between related person or distinct person as specified in section 25 when made in the course or furtherance of business, correct? However, gift not exceeding how much? 50,000 in a value in a by a 12 shall not be treated as supply of dash or dash or dash. That means ஒரு employer employeeக்கு gift கொடுத்தார்னா ஒரு வருஷத்துக்கு 50,000 rupees வரைக்கும் அதை deemed supplier treat பண்ண வேண்டிய. Supply of goods என்ன வராதுன்னா service வராது. Supply of goods கரெக்டா? By a dash to his agent where the agent undertake to supply such goods on behalf of the, or by an agent to his principal where the agent undertake to receive such goods on behalf of the. Next one, para number 4, dash of services by a person from a related person or from any of his establishment situated in the course or furtherance of business. அப்ப consideration இல்லைனா கூட இந்த 4 activity மட்டும் என்ன ஆகும்? Supply ஆகும். That's what the shortcut is. Trip. Shortcut is what? Trip. Hello sir. காசு இல்லைன்னா கூட நீ வாழ்க்கையில ட்ரிப்பு போகாம இருக்காத, கன்சிடரேஷன் இல்லைன்னா கூட வாழ்க்கையில ட்ரிப்பு போயிட்டு வா. ஒத்துக்கிறியா? நம்பர் 1, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC has been supply between related or distinct person made in the course or furtherance of business. Supply of goods between principal and agent. Import of services. Right? So we'll be seeing one para in detail. Sir, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where dash has been availed. நீ ITC avail பண்ணியிருந்தா என்ன சப்ளை? ITC avail பண்ணலேனா not a supply. ITC not availed na not a supply. Appreciate பண்றியா? Supply between dash or dash person related or அப்ப supply of dash or dash goods or services or both between என்ன person or distinct person as specified in section when made in the course or furtherance of business is a deemed supply. Correct? So we have to see what is the definition of related person. Definition of related person classified into based upon relationship, based upon control. Based upon relationship 5 pera. Officers or directors of one another's business, legally recognized partner, employer and employee, members of the same family, sole agent, sole distributor, sole concessionaire of the other. Correct? Based upon control. One of them controls the other. Third person controls the other. Such a person together controls the third person. Third person holds more than or equal to 25% of voting stock of. Right? Sir, even employer and employee are related person. Yes, sir. If any service has been provided by the employer to the employee in the course of furtherance of business is a deemed supply. Correct? Yes, but it is having 2 exceptions, my dear lovable students. And the particular point it motto ethan exception. Number 1, gift by the yaru to yaru. If any service has been provided by the employer to the employee up to a gift amount of in a financial year will not be treated as deemed supply. Correct? The second exception, perquisite by the employer to the if I am an employer, if I am providing perquisite to all my employee in the course of employment, it will not be regarded as deemed supply. So there are ethan exception, 2 exception. It must be noted that service by a employee to the employer, yaru to the yaru? Employee to the employer. In the course or relation to his employees outside the scope of GST. Service யாருக்கு provide பண்ணா? Employee employer-க்கு provide பண்ணா schedule 3. ஆனா employer employee-க்கு provide பண்ணா schedule 1. Yes, sir. It follows there from that supply by the dash to dash in terms of contractual agreement entered into between the dash and dash will not be subject to GST. If a service has been provided by the employee to the employer, hello, this is covered in N3. Whereas if the service has been provided by employer to the employee is covered in N1. But we are having 2 exceptions. Correct? Yes, number 1, up to 50,000 rupees in a financial year. Number 2, perquisite provided by the employer to the employee will not be regarded as deemed supply. Correct? If such a service as a membership of club, health and fitness center are provided enough charge to all the employees by the employer, same will not be subject to GST because this is perquisite. Perquisite is providing by the employer to all the employees. It will not be regarded as deemed supply. Correct? So the one can understand same would hold true for free housing to யாருக்கு? Employee rent free accommodation provide பண்ணுவாங்களா? When the same is provided in terms of contract between யாருக்கு and யாருக்கு and is a part and parcel of the owner to the company. So therefore if service are provided enough charge to all the employees by the employer, then the same will not be subject to provided appropriate GST was paid when procured by the yaru. So that one line summary of the entire discussion, relationship can be classified into how many category? 2 category. Number 1, service provided by the employee to the employer is covered in. If service provided by the employer to the employee is covered in Schedule 1. That is NS supply. It is having an exception. Gift amount up to rupees 50,000. Perquisite provided by the employer to the employee. Right? Sir, further ITC scheme under GST does not allow ITC of membership of club, health and fitness center. Already blocked. sir if an employer வந்து இந்த club fitness centerலாம் எடுத்து employee கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அது employee கையில perquisite treat ஆவறதுனால அதுக்கு GST கலெக்ட் பண்ண வேண்டிய but அதுக்கு ITC எடுக்க முடியாது. It's a என்ன credit under section 17 subsection 5 there are 9 blocked credits are there which are navaratna correct? Yes sir, we have already discussed, but when we read that for the first time sometimes in the point on connect ஆயிருக்காது. But நம்ம full discussion முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் திருப்பி recall பண்ணும்போது it will be pakka connection. The term person also include என்ன person? Person include என்ன person also? Family means spouse and children of the person. This is a direct relationship. Then indirect relationship யாரெல்லாம்னா parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters of the person if they are wholly and mainly dependent on such person. So spouse, children of the person எப்பவுமே family தான். ஆனா parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters of the person will be treated as in a family if they are wholly dependent. Otherwise they will not be treated as family because we are having the fourth word members of the inner family. So question arises, what do you mean by family? அப்ப ரெண்டு பேர் எப்பவுமே family தான். யாரு spouse and children, whereas parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters will be treated as family if they are wholly and mainly dependent. Shall I proceed? So we understood who and all are the related person. Now we are going to understand who and all are distinct person. In a person? So two things will make you distinct person. Section 25 subsection 4 and 25 subsection 5. There are two sections talking about in a person. Separate registration make in a person. For example, either in one state you are taking two registration or in two state you are taking two registration. Basically you are with one PAN number you are taking two registration, then you will be treated as distinct person for the purpose of GST. So a person was obtained or required to obtain more than one registration. Whether in one state, அப்ப ஒரு ஸ்டேட்டுக்குள்ளேயே ரெண்டு registration or union territory or more than one state or union territory. அப்ப தமிழ்நாட்டுக்குள்ளேயே நீ ரெண்டு registration எடுத்திருக்க, கரெக்ட்டா? On ANM classes enga Chennai I am taking separate registration. ANM classes Coimbatore I am taking separate registration. Yes sir. So if I am taking two registration in the same state, then two will be treated as sir in respect of each such registration we treat as distinct person for the purpose of this act. Then establishment in a state, another state. I am having one establishment in engena Tamil Nadu, correct? Sir, ANM classes Chennai. Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I am going to start ANM classes Kerala, but there I am not going to take the registration because of section 23. Person not liable for. So there I may be an agriculturalist, or I may be supplying wholly exempted item, or I may be supplying wholly non-taxable item, which is or any other notified person which are covered under section 23. So because of the benefit what has been covered under section 23, I am not taking registration in Kerala, but I have taken registration in Tamil Nadu because from Tamil Nadu I would have made taxable supply. Clarity? So one state I have taken registration, another state I have not taken. So I am having an establishment in another state. Even though you have not taken registration in another state, as per section 25 subsection 5 of the ANM CGST Act, establishment in another state is make a distinct person. So where a person was obtained or required to obtain registration in a state or in a territory, அப்போ ஒரு ஸ்டேட்ல நீ என்ன எடுத்துட்ட in respect of an establishment, sir, has an establishment in a state or union territory. அதே ஆளுக்கு இன்னொரு ஸ்டேட்ல என்ன இருக்கு? எஸ்டாப்லிஷ்மென்ட் இருக்கு, ஆனா இன்னொரு ஸ்டேட்ல என்ன எடுக்கல, then such establishment shall be treated as establishment of distinct person for the purpose of this act. ஒத்துக்கறியா? இதோட consequences என்னன்னா சார் supply of goods or services or both between related or distinct person, between distinct person made in the course or furtherance of business is a deemed supply. படிச்சியா? அப்போ distinct person separate registration make distinct person. Establishment in another state make distinct person. Yes sir. because of this the consequences are stock transfer or branch transfer are also liable to GST. Maybe உனக்கு சார் தமிழ்நாட்டிலேயே சார் ரெண்டு ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் எடுத்திருப்பியா? ஒன்னு ஹெட் ஆபீஸா இருக்குமா, ஒன்னு பிரான்ச் ஆபீஸா இருக்குமா? இப்ப ANM Classes Chennai is the head office. Sir, we have started in ANM Classes Coimbatore is the branch office. Sir, if any supply has been provided from the head office to the end office, branch office, my dear lovable students, for that it is liable to GST. Up a separate registration make distinct person. Already we understand பண்ணிட்டோம். The transaction between different location with separate inner registration of the same legal entity like inner transfer, stock transfer or will qualify as supply under GST, which is in contrast to the existing regime. பழைய ரெஜிம்ல செல்ஃப் சப்ளைக்கு டாக்ஸ் கட்ட வேண்டிய, ஆனா ஜிஎஸ்டில செல்ஃப் சப்ளைக்கு என்ன கட்டி ஆகணும்? The logic is GST is a consumption based tax. GST is a consumption based tax. அப்ப sometimes நான் ஒரு ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் தமிழ்நாட்டுல வச்சிருப்பேன், இன்னொரு ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் கேரளால வச்சிருப்பேன். கரெக்ட்டா? ரெண்டுமே நான் தான் வச்சிருக்கேன். ஹலோ. But it should be treated as distinct person. If I am moving goods or services from Tamil Nadu to எங்கேக்கு? Kerala, the consumption is going to be happened in Kerala. So it has to be treated as a distinct person and I have to collect tax from that guy and deposit IGST to the central government. Central government will take 50% and the remaining 50% will be shared by the central government to the respective state government. Hello. அந்த ஒரு விஷயம் work out ஆவறதுக்காக தான் இவ்ளோ பெரிய போராட்டம். அதனால தான் supply of dash or dash or dash goods or services or both between related or distinct person as specified in section 25. ஏன்னா section 25 subsection 4 லையும் section 25 subsection 5 லையும் தான் what is the definition of distinct person சொல்லிருக்காங்க. கரெக்ட்டா? If it is made in the course or furtherance of business is a என்ன supply. However, transfer between two units of a entity under single registration apparently within the same state will not be considered as. This is very important point. Sir, ஒரே ஸ்டேட்டுக்குள்ள நான் சார் என்ன எடுத்திருக்கேன்? சிங்கிள் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் எடுத்திருக்கேன். சிங்கிள் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் எடுத்து ஒரு பிளேஸ் பிரின்சிபல் பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ் ஆகும், இன்னொன்னு அடிஷனல் பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ் ஆகும் நான் கொடுத்திருக்கேன். அப்ப நான் பிரின்சிபல் பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ்ல இருந்து அடிஷனல் பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ்க்கு என்ன பண்ணனா சப்ளை பண்ணனா நான் டீம்டு சப்ளையா ட்ரீட் பண்ண வேண்டிய. அப்ப இன்டர் ஸ்டேட் என்ன ஸ்டேட்? என்ன சப்ளை? செல்ஃப் சப்ளை such as stock transfer or branch transfer or consignment shall be taxable under NSC even though such transaction may not involve payment of consideration இல்லேனா கூட as per section 7 subsection 1 clause C read with schedule 1 it will be treated as deemed supply. Intra-state என்ன supply? Self supply are not taxable subject to not opting for registration as என்ன vertical. ஒரே ஸ்டேட்டுக்குள்ள நீ வந்து சார் ஒரு ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன்ல ரெண்டு யூனிட் ரன் பண்றேனா ஹலோ சார் சார் அத வந்து டீம்டு சப்ளையா ட்ரீட் பண்ண வேண்டிய கம்ஃபர்டபிள். We are going to talk about principal and agent. இங்க supply of என்ன மட்டும் தான் வரும், என்ன வராது. Sir, by a dash to his dash, principal to him, where the agent undertake to supply such goods on behalf of the. அப்ப பிரின்சிபல் ஏஜென்ட்க்கு goods அனுப்புறாரு, ஏஜென்ட் சொல்றாரு உங்களுக்காக நான் சப்ளை பண்றேன், ஒத்துக்கறியா? Or by an agent to his யாருக்கு? Principal, where the agent undertake to receive such goods on behalf of the. சார் அப்ப ஏஜென்ட் பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணி ஏஜென்ட் யாருக்கு அனுப்புறாரு? பிரின்சிபலுக்கு அனுப்புறாரு. சார் both will be tantamount to என்ன சப்ளை even though there is no consideration. Correcta? Sir, in order to attract para number 3 of schedule 1, first of all you should be an agent. Correcta? Sir, when you will become an agent is what explained here. Issue of invoice is the criteria. Invoice yaar issue பண்றாங்கறதா matter. Correcta? Sir, if the invoice can be issued by the agent in his name, then he is an agent for the purpose of para 3. If he cannot issue invoice, in his name, if he is issuing the invoice in the name of the principal, he is not an agent as per para 3 of schedule 1. Pakka. அப்போ ஒரு ஆள் ஏஜெண்டா இல்லையா? அப்ப இங்க கமிஷன் ஏஜென்ட் வராது, ப்ரொக்யூர்மென்ட் ஏஜென்ட் வராது, மார்க்கெட்டிங் ஏஜென்ட் வராது, he should have some relationship between, sir, goods, correct? So issue of invoice by the agent for further supply of goods on behalf of principal is the deciding criteria, correct? If the agent is having the power to raise the invoice, இப்போ goods நான் தான் principal, நீ தான் agent இல்லையா, நான் உனக்கு என்ன அனுப்புறேன், goods அனுப்புறேன், என்ன இல்லாம கன்சிடரேஷன் இல்லாம இருந்தாலும் அது என்ன சப்ளை ஆகும், அதுக்கு முதல்ல நீ என்னோட ஏஜென்ட் ஆகணும், கரெக்டா? நீ என்னோட ஏஜென்ட் ஆவறதுக்கு ஒரே ஒரு கண்டிஷன் தான் இருக்கு, நீ இன்வாய்ஸ் ரைஸ் பண்ணணும், யார் பேர்ல, ஓன் பேர்ல. அப்ப ஏன் குட்ஸ ஓன் பேர்ல விக்கிறதுக்கான அதிகாரம் நான் உனக்கு தந்திருக்கேன்னா, you are my agent, then para 3 will be applicable. Otherwise you are not my agent, para 3 will not be. அப்ப whether the invoice for the further supply is issued by the agent in his name, then any provision of goods from the principal to agent would fall within the fold of para 3. Sir, above, however it may be noted that in case where invoice is issued by the yare to the yarke in the name of yar perla, such agent shall not fall within the ambit of para 3 above. அப்ப ஏஜென்ட் யார் பேர்ல ரைஸ் பண்ணணும், ஏஜென்ட் பேர்ல ரைஸ் பண்ணணும். யாரோட குட்ஸ, you have a doubt, அது எப்படி சார் பிரின்சிபலோட குட்ஸ ஏஜென்ட் பேர் போட்டு ஏஜென்ட் விற்க முடியும், அதனால தான் அவன் ஏஜென்ட். ஹலோ சார். Sir, similarly when the goods being procured by the yare on behalf of the are invoiced in the name of the agent, அவன் பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணும்போது யார் பேர்ல பில் போட கூடாது, யார் பேர்ல பில் போடணும். சார் அது எப்படி சார், பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்றதே பிரின்சிபலுக்கு தானே, பின்ன எப்படி சார் யார் பேர்ல பில் போடுவாங்க, ஏஜென்ட் பேர்ல. அதனாலதான் என்ன ஏஜென்ட். அப்பதான் para 3 ல சொன்ன என்ன ஆகும், agent now. Then further provision of said goods by the agent to the principal would be covered by para 3 above. Appreciate பண்றியா? Sir, come to the importation of services. Already section 7 subsection 1 clause B இருந்துச்சா? Importation of services for a consideration whether or not in the course of furtherance of business is a supply. Hello? But if you are importing services from a place எங்கிருந்து, outside India, from a related or என்னது, from a related or, sir, establishment situated outside India is a deemed supplier, but it should be in the course of furtherance of, sir, import of services by a person from dash person, we already know the definition of related person, or from any of his other establishment enga outside India in the course of furtherance of business is a. So if you see, sir, we are having TRIPA. Sir, idhula T, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC has been awarded. Idu in the course of furtherance of business arkunu sollave illa. Whereas, sir, supply of dash or dash or dash goods or services or both between related or distinct person as specified in section 25 in the course or furtherance of business. This R should be in the next one. N of services. Services from a related or establishment situated outside India in the course of, so these two are only in the course of, right? Whereas supply of goods by the principal to the agent and in the course of furtherance of business ங்கிற வார்த்தை இல்ல. Are you really with me? When you critically analyze TRIP, only these two things are having in the course of. அதனால இன் உள்ள வச்சிருக்கேன், யாரையும் யாரையும்னா ரிலேட்டடையும் சரி இம்போர்டேஷனையும் சரி. Are you really with me? So we are doing the definition of supply, section 7 we are doing. Hello sir. Sir, we will be continuing the definition of supply in the coming class. Have a full revision of whatever you are doing. I hope that you are enjoying, sir, the people who are listening in online. Sir, if you are enjoying, sir, share your happiness. For that only we are making here even morning at, sir, 6:30 to 7 for you. I am wishing you a very good day. Sir, listen, sir, to the lecture and utilize your day very well. Study and study for 2 months, then you will be able to crack this exam.